Hey everybody, welcome to the expedited Shopify setup guide. We're going to jump right in here, and we're just on Shopify.com, and we clicked start your free trial. So I'm going to put in my email address and just make any store name. I'm going to call it Senior Mastermind. And you click the Create the Store button, and now in the background they're creating the store. So all we did is really enter our store email address, and we created a store name, which you could change later. And now it's going to bring us to the basic setup here. There's two options. We're going to set up online store, obviously. There's also a Square-like reader that you could use. But we're going to do online store, and here's where you're going to enter your business information. So if you have an LLC or an S Corp, something like that, you're going to enter the information in there. If not, you're just going to enter in your name, and you're going to put in your address, but I definitely recommend getting a business account. So I'm just going to fill out all these fields here. Again, this is all changeable in the back end once you're here, but this is just for the setup. So get everything going in there. Enter your full LLC name if you do have one, and then enter in the state. Go to the next. This doesn't really matter much, but you could select any of these really. They just kind of want to get a little bit of information for themselves, they being Shopify. So you're going to just go through here and then enter your store. So now you're going to get to the Shopify dashboard, and this is kind of your new home base. So here's the home page, and we're going to get right into kind of the steps that we need to do to get into a live site. So first I'm going to show you the plans, and I always recommend the professional plan. It is $79 a month. It's $50 more than the other plan, but you get a little bit of a lower credit card percentage, 2.6% as opposed to 2.9%. So in volume, you will definitely make that $50 up. But I think the most important thing is actually in the features that they give you, and that's the reports. So if you're doing any type of daily reporting, you know how much of a pain that is. The reports here are really great, obviously sortable by date and a lot of other data points. So that's what I would go with. There's also a $14 starter if you are really trying to save money on that. But I recommend the $79 a month one. So, this is kind of just showing what we need to do to get started. And it's also going to show some tips in there. Most of the time they're not really that useful, but, they'll try to guess what you want. So we're going to start with settings. And the first part of settings is general. And it's going to fill what we put in that form and when we signed up. So that's our email address. There's two email address boxes. One for what the customer will see and when they do a contact form, where we'll go. And the other one is just the store admin stuff. So again, you want to put the legal name of your business in there. It's going to pull other information from your registration form. Select your time zone. This is important for reports. You want to be on the right time zone, so when you're pulling days, it's going to pull the correct time. You can leave everything else blank. So store name, that's changeable right here. Otherwise, just fill out all the fields that you can, and use your business account. That's important. So now we're on the payments page, and there are two payments that we need to be concerned with, and this is for U.S. sellers. So we're definitely going to use Shopify Payments, and we're also going to use PayPal. Shopify Payments is basically the easiest way to start accepting payments here, and it's important to note that by clicking that button for the first time, your store credit card terminal is already turned on. So as it says up there, it's before we can transfer sales to you. You're going to need to enter this information. But keep in mind that you will be able to accept credit cards on here. You just won't be able to receive the money until you fill out this form. So now we're just going through everything. Fill it out as based on your store and your product. You definitely want to be shipping your products within 0 to 6 days, hopefully. So we're talking about jewelry and apparel. We're just being very broad here. Obviously, that's not my real tax ID, but you're going to put in your EIN number. And then you have to confirm, this is not business related. You have to confirm your own birth date. Now, the thing is, they don't actually check this, but they want to have it. And basically, if there is any issue, they're going to make you verify this later on. So, you might get an email from Shopify Payments saying we need to verify your stuff before you can withdraw. Customer billing statement. This is just another piece of branding, really. This is what's going to show up on the credit card receipt of your buyers. So, when you look at your statement, it says like Verizon Wireless or whatever it is you paid for. This is where you're going to have your name show up there. Banking information, this is for you to enter in from your business bank account so you can actually withdraw the money from Shopify Payments. So again, you need to set up everything and have accurate information and have a legitimate business and business bank account in order for the money to get transferred. So you're just going to save that. I mean, that's all you need to have on here. This is just a little error because I wasn't putting in a real routing number. But if I did put in a real one, they would check it because there is just an easy database to check to make sure that it is a valid number, but they're not doing anything else at this time. PayPal, you're going to want to have PayPal enabled, and whatever email address you sign up, you're automatically going to have that set up for PayPal. So be sure, it's going to say that after your first sale, PayPal will email you at the email address, assuming that you don't already have an account. So this basically creates a new account for you, or forces you to create a new account. It does start off as enabled, so if for some reason you didn't want to accept PayPal, you would go into the edit settings and just deactivate. But we're going to keep that on. So it's showing that we're using Shopify Payments right now. It's showing that we're using PayPal Express Checkout. So when the customer gets to the checkout page, you're going to have two different options for payment. These other ones, you may or may not want to try them out. For non-US sellers, you're going to need to do something more specific to your country. So that would be a third-party gateway. But for US sellers, Shopify Payments and PayPal is the way to go. Another thing on the payment authorization, you're going to obviously always want to automatically capture the orders. That means, when someone pays for an item, they're going to be charged right at that moment, as opposed to kind of doing a pre-sale when you think about it, where you just authorize later. If you're selling a physical product, it almost always makes sense to just charge them immediately. So that's payments. So now we're into checkout. Customer accounts, I always go with something like optional because you're going to be able to give the customer the option to go like a speed checkout and not have to create an account, or if they do want to create an account, they'll be able to. This is obviously just good for both the buyer and the seller. It's convenient for the buyer because they'll have an account to log into to track their orders, and for you, it's good to get more data on a customer. So these, I'm pretty much leaving them as they come. I'm definitely checking this box for while the customer is checking out. Use the billing address as the default. They can select a different address, but I like having as few fields as possible to really increase conversion on the checkout page. So I recommend keeping that checked. It's pretty, pretty important, and it does really reduce the amount of fields by a significant amount. This next section, this is about building your email address, and I think you should always have it pre-checked to agree. So that's what those buttons mean. After an order has been paid, this little section, it's talking about fulfilling or not fulfilling, and I choose to not fulfill because especially if you have multiple providers, there's going to be different times of fulfillment. And this is where the Facebook checkout conversion pixel goes. This is for the new and the old pixel. You're going to place the pixel right in there. Sorry about that. You're going to place the pixel right in there, and it's just a copy and paste exercise, really. So that's what you got so far on the checkout page, and remember, you can find your checkout script inside your Facebook ads account. So if it's for the new pixel, it's under Tools and Pixels, and if it's the old pixel, it's under Tools, Pixels, and then Conversion Pixel Old. So that's how they're splitting it up right now. If you are using the new pixel, there's some other places to put it as well. For example, inside your theme. So here I'm just auto-generating the policy pages, and these are super important because Facebook actually requires you, basically any landing page or any store to have a privacy policy in terms of service, etc. So this is kind of a boilerplate that when you generate, it will just kind of create for you and enter your information. I like to edit the parts that are relevant to to my store, and that's mostly shipping and returns. So you can definitely edit these. So again, you're just auto-generating these. It's on the checkout page, and we're going to come back to this a little bit later. But these are the fields that we care about. Okay, shipping. Shipping is always a concern, whether you're doing free plus shipping or full price shipping. So here's what you're looking at on this page. Shipping zones, you could see, are broken into two main things, and that's international or domestic. So first, on international, for me, I don't have many international orders. I'm not advertising there for most of my stores, so I'm really kind of overcharging on the shipping end there, because it's just more of a hassle to fulfill. Except for dropship products, obviously, but most of the in-house products, it's more of a hassle for me. On the domestic side, for the U.S. sellers, again, this is personal preference in terms of what you want to or where you want to fulfill to. So I'm just kind of removing, the non-states here, the U.S. territories. I'm taking them out and picking through. I think there's 7 or 8 that that you want to remove. Then I'm just going to save that and go back. So now we have 2 shipping zones, domestic, U.S., and international. So inside domestic, we're going to start creating our shipping rules, and I call them rules because it's in Shopify. They use a variety of different ways to create shipping, all using different rule sets, whether it's total price of cart or weight. In this case, we're going to use weight of the product to kind of build the rules. So here we have standard shipping and heavy goods shipping that just kind of was in there. I'm going to basically just edit this, and I want to create a new shipping rate for a free shipping product on my store. So this rule-based thing here is going to say, okay, if the total order weight is 0 to 5 pounds, then it's going to put this rule into effect. If let's say I added a product that was 5.1 pounds, then that rule wouldn't go into effect. So right now I'm going to create a 0. Any order that's between 0.0 and 0.1 is going to be $3.99. I'm doing that because I know that my T-shirt products, for example, are going to weigh 0.1 pounds. So I'm basically setting up that rule to be any basically 1 ounce item, which is almost always a shirt, is going to be $3.99. So again, you're using weight tied to a product to create rules. So now I'm doing 0.2 pounds to 0.2 pounds, and that's $4.99. So you can imagine that being someone adding 2 shirts to their cart. So 1, I want to charge 4, and 2, I want to charge 5, or $3.99, $4.99. So I'm just using these weights. Now, let's say someone were to add a 0.2 pound product to their store. If I had it, then they would automatically be charged that $4.99 rate. So it's total order weight of the cart. And I'm changing this actually because I realized that 0.0 is actually going to be used for a free shipping rule. So 0.1 to 0.1 is $3.99. Again, here's where we're setting up based on the weight. And now I'm doing a free shipping rule here. So if literally if the products that are added to cart equals 0 weight, then it's going to be free shipping. Now, you get to manipulate that by easily having a way to make anything free shipping. All you need to do is edit any product to be 0 pounds, and it's going to be free shipping. So right now I have anything 0 pounds is free, anything 0.1 pounds is $3.99, anything 0.2 pounds is $4.99. Again, this is total order weight. So we're going to keep going with the rules here. 0.3 to 0.3, that's probably 3 T-shirts added. I want to charge $5.99, so I set the shipping cost that way. So if I had 3 T-shirts that weigh 0.1 pound each, it's going to total 0.3 pounds, and it's going to be $5.99. If it's 2, it's $4.99. If it's 1, it's $3.99. So again, we're building rules, and this directly corresponds to the weight of the product. So setting up another one, and this is for 0.4 to 0.4. Now this seems like it's a little redundant, but it's important that if let's say you have 0.1 to 0.4, and and then you have 0.6 to 0.9, and you leave out 0.5, the customer is not going to be charged any shipping because there's no rule for that. So you need to really include every possible combination of weights. So this is where it gets a bit interesting, and this is the way that I do it. Let's say you're going to have something that weighs 0.5 pounds, for example, a free plus shipping product. So let's say something is 0.5 pounds. That could be 2 different things. One, it could be a free plus shipping product, or it can be a 5 T-shirt order. So this you're never going to have it perfectly in terms of setting up weights and having all the the numbers add up in terms of being plus $1 per shipping. It's kind of going to be off. But in this case, for any free plus shipping product, it's going to be $8.99, and then for any combination up to 0.9, it's going to be $8.99. So that could be a free plus shipping product and a couple of shirts. It could be 9 shirts. I'm not sure. I wouldn't be so happy about $9 shipping for 9 shirts, but that's so rare that that's going to happen that it's really okay. That would still be a great order. And again, by using these weight-based rules, you have to kind of take the best that you can get. But it's important that you have that range there, so you have every combination covered. So I'm actually going to change this to just 0.5 to 1.5 and create more rules, because I think that I could charge a little bit more in shipping for a 6 plus item order. So you're going to see this combination is 0.6 to 0.9. Now that could be 9 t-shirts, it could be 6 t-shirts, it can be 1 t-shirt and 1 free plus shipping item, it could be 4 t-shirts and 1 free plus shipping item. I'm going to charge $9.99 on that. So that's another combination. So remember that when you have different weights, it's total weight. So there can be a good deal of combinations here. So you want to be okay with the shipping rate that you're going to charge for, let's say, a worst case scenario type order where they have 9 t-shirts in it, which again that's a great problem to have. So now we're at 1.0 to 1.0. This is 10 t-shirts, or this is 2 free plus shipping items, or this is 1 free plus shipping item and 5 t-shirts. I'm setting it at $15.99. So from 0.0 to 1.0, we have every range, every possible range covered here. So now we're going to keep going. There's a few more to create, and we're going to be going 1.1 on the minimum. 1.1 on the minimum, going up to 1.4, and this is covering everything under 3 free plus shipping items. So we want to have stuff like 2 free plus shipping items and a shirt, or 1 free plus shipping item and 9 shirts. It's going to be $19.99 for that. And now we're going to create another rate. Again, we're going to go all the way up, and for the sake of time, we're not going to show every single one. But let's say you want to limit orders to 5 free plus shipping items per order. You're going to want to have rules for up to 2.5 pounds, since that would be obviously 5 items times 0.5 for that 2.5 pounds. So it's up to you in terms of where you want to stop, but remember, you want to have every single possible combination. So we're on taxes here. I'm breezing through this because really you're just going to kind of let it do tax based on where you signed up. It's going to know that and this is for U.S. sellers, in your state you're going to be charging sales tax, and that gets automatically applied on checkout. There's nothing you need to do. Add a physical presence. Let's say you have a warehouse in California, but you're based out of Idaho. You need to put both of those in there. So I'm based out of California, so I'm putting it there. Again, not much that you need to do there. Notifications. These are the default emails that get sent by Shopify. I like to change the order confirmation email, basically because this cuts down on a lot of customer, basically questions that can easily be answered. So I'm putting frequently asked questions inside the order confirmation email. Things like, when am I going to get the item? Are they going to come in 2 different packages? How can I track my item? How can I change my address? Things like that. I'm going to have that in there, and I've really noticed that you see a significant drop in what I'd say basic customer inquiries. So that saves you some time, and then you could just create this and copy and paste this into any email that you want to have it included in. Maybe you have it in the shipping update email. You can put it in any email that you want, and as you can see, it's just plain text. You're going to type in anything you want in there, and it's going to just show up. You can preview it. This is what it's going to look like. You can see my frequently asked questions on the bottom. So this is a really good way to cut down on, like I said, basic customer inquiries. On the notification side, there's not much else that you really need to focus on. Again, you could change any of the emails up there, but otherwise, those bottom sections are kind of irrelevant. So, I know we went through shipping pretty quickly. If you do want to, go back, definitely just rewatch that. It's about finding the combinations and creating combinations of product weight to product shipping rules based on weight. Files section you could skip. Account section, I just wanted to call out this little thing where you could pause your store. Let's say you did a lot of work on the store, you don't want to completely end it or delete it. You could pause it. I think it's $14 a month to basically keep the store active in terms of people can view it, they just can't check out. So sales channels you can skip. Online store, this is all about SEO right now, so you're going to put an SEO title. You want to include your keywords in both your title and your description. For example, if this was a fishing store, then you're going to put something like fishingstore.com, the best fishing shirts online, or fishing shirts and hoodies and apparel. The keywords that you think people might be searching for. This is where you're going to want to put it in. And this is pretty meaningful for SEO, specifically the homepage title. That's also what's going to really show up in Google if you are lucky enough to get some search traffic early on. So again, those are the things like niche t-shirts, niche hoodies, niche apparel, niche jewelry. Those are your keywords. So if this store is called Senior Mastermind, I'd put the little fishing t-shirt store. That's mostly in there for Google. Storefront password, once you pick a plan, in terms of once you start paying, you could remove that password. Otherwise, people aren't going to be able to view your store. Another thing that we're going to want to do is Google Analytics. And that's going to be, pretty simple. On the analytics side, you're just going to log into Google Analytics, and if it's for the first time, you're going to have to sign up, obviously. And if you're using a Gmail account for your store, your store login, then this is going to be a lot easier for you because you just can sign up with that Gmail account. So, I'm into Google Analytics. Just it's google.com/analytics, and I'm going to basically sign up. If you've never used this before, don't get intimidated by it. It's the setup is very easy. It's just copy and paste. So you're going to enter in some information here. Obviously, you want to track a website, not a mobile app. So you could put your account name here. It could be your domain name or a nickname for your store or whatever you want it to be. So I just normally will use the same thing for account name and website name. And now you're going to want to put the www.yourdomain.com. So make sure you include the www. It actually does matter. I mean, it doesn't really matter here, but it matters to track. You want to be tracking www in all cases. Put your category. If I'm selling art, then I'll put that. If I'm selling, supplements, I'll put healthcare. Whatever it is, you're going to put it in there. Set your time zone, and then these sharing things, I just let them stay checked. It's really not a big deal. And so now it's going to give you your tracking ID. You just have to accept the terms here. But with this tracking ID, this is going to be code that you need to copy and paste into that section on Shopify. So here it comes. It's going to pop up in a second. So there is website tracking. So you have your tracking ID. That's just your ID number for the site. You're going to see that in Shopify, but this is all you need. You copy and paste this, the entire script in here, and all you need to do is paste that back into the Shopify side in the Google Analytics account. Paste and save it. So as you can see, it's got your ID in there, and you're going to save that. Now this page reloads and it gives you more options. You're going to want to click Use Enhanced E-commerce. This is basically for e-commerce tracking, to where Shopify will send Google Analytics like the actual conversion value, and you could in Analytics you could see like which products have had the most gross revenue and stuff like that. So you're going to save that. There's one step that you need to do. You have to go up and click Admin on Google Analytics, and then click under e-commerce settings, and this basically you need to turn on e-commerce settings. They're off by default. So you're going to just turn it on. So it says use the e-commerce on, enable related products on, save it. And now you could turn on that enhanced e-commerce setting. So you're basically turning all three things that you can on through this, through these prompts. And it's under admin and then e-commerce settings. So you save that. Now you're back under Google Analytics, and that's all you need to really do on the online store part of this. So there you go. Those are all the settings, and really not that much to do. Really, shipping takes the most time. So now we're going to talk about your theme. I'm sorry. First, we're going to talk about pages. Yeah, of course. So we have pages here, and pages are going to be obviously the pages of your site. And the ones that I think everyone should have would be frequently asked questions, contact us, privacy policy, terms of service, return policy. So as you can see, these are really easy to create. It's just kind of like Microsoft Word. You're going to put in kind of what you put in on that notification, what I was showing you earlier. You're going to put in some of the most frequently asked questions, so you can just kind of get those out of the way, so you don't need to constantly answer the same question over and over. This definitely will reduce the amount of basic customer inquiries you get. So putting everything in there. This is an SEO section here. You could spend some time to optimize it, but you don't really care about your FAQ page being that indexable in terms of Google. So I wouldn't focus too much on there. So you're just going to save it, and you're going to create another page. So these pages are being saved into the site. They're not visible anywhere until you add them somewhere. We'll do that in a second. But now we're going to create those copy and paste return policy, terms of service, and privacy policy that we had Shopify auto-generate for us in the checkout section of settings. So this is really just copy and paste. Take each section. So refund policy, copy that, put it into the refund policy page. Those are all SEO sections, and again, these pages are not that important for Google. You're going to save it. Now we're just going to keep doing that for each page. We need to do terms of service. We need to do privacy policy, and again, this is just copying and pasting it from the settings checkout section, and these are pretty much auto-generated from Shopify. So just one more. Terms of service, copy and pasting from the settings checkout page. Okay. Great. So we've created 4 pages so far, FAQs and the 3 necessary ones, and there's some some default pages that come with Shopify basic install, like About Us and Homepage. You can edit those if you want, or you can just keep those hidden. Now here's the most important. You're going to want to create a Contact Us page, and you want to have the form in there. So just select Template, and every theme has a contact page, or almost every theme has a contact page template that will just automatically have a form in the page. And this is pretty cool. You get that contact form without needing to actually code it. So Contact Us, privacy policy, return policy, terms of service, frequently asked questions. You created them, but now you need to actually make them visible. So you go into the navigation section, and here's where you could actually build your navigations. And these are going to be specific to your theme. Some themes have a top navigation, some have a bottom navigation, which they call footer and header. Some have only one. Wherever it is, it's going to be specific to your theme. But here's how you just you're simply adding menu items, and you're going to name them whatever you want to name them. You're going to select the page that they're associated to, and it's as simple as that. You want to have privacy policy, return policy, and terms of service on every page, because again, Facebook requires you to have that for a valid landing page. So you're going to want to have that on every page, but putting it into the footer navigation is an easy way to do that. So now we have what we have in there. We're going to just save the menu, and that's as simple as that. It's now live on your site. So that's how to add pages to your footer. We're going to do the same thing for the main menu, which is normally the header menu. So again, it comes with the About Us page. I don't really want to use that right now, so I'm just putting the Contact Us page on there. I want to make sure that people can find the Contact Us link. So it's right up there in the navigation. You can add any other pages you want. You could add external pages. You could rearrange things by just dragging. That's about it. So domains, definitely do not use the, yourstore.myshopify.com. It just doesn't look professional. So you're gonna, this assumes you've already bought a domain on something like GoDaddy. So you're gonna add that domain name. I'm adding, my domain name here, and always put the www dot first. And that's important for SEO. So you're gonna put www.yourdomain.com, and now it's gonna give you instructions in terms of you need to go into the place that you bought your domain, and you need to edit the DNS records for for that domain. And they provide instructions, pretty good instructions, for almost all of the popular registrars. GoDaddy is obviously the most popular one. Namecheap is another good one. So it's going to show you how to edit these DNS zones, where you'll need to change both the www record and the @ record. So you're going to also want to, you have to add both the www and the non-www domain. So add them both. Again, it's going to give you instructions on what to change the A record to. And it's going to show you that action is required. It's not going to update until you have done that on the registrar side. And here you want to redirect all the traffic to the www and save that. That's important. You want all the traffic to go to www. That's an SEO thing. You don't want some links to go to non-www. It's an SEO best practice. So now we're in the themes finally. And there are tons and tons of themes here. I like the Brooklyn theme over there. It's really easy to set up. It looks great. Installing it is literally as easy as this. I'm just going to click install, and it's basically downloading or installing the theme onto my Shopify site right now. So we're going to see it in just a couple seconds. It's going to be in there as an option for us to activate. So the Brooklyn theme is great. It's optimized for mobile as well, which obviously is going to give you the majority of your traffic. So we're using Launchpad Star right now. That's like the default one. It's also a great one, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is to kind of make this site your own. Change. There's no code required. You're just using the basically theme control panel, and you can change all these anything you want. You want to make red text for some reason. I don't recommend it, but you can make your own color scheme. You're going to be able to change even the font face. So if you don't want to just have a basic, boring Arial site, you could have some other font, and this actually shows you live in real time the fonts changing. You obviously just saw it go from Arial to Geneva, change the size. It's got Google Fonts installed, so those are some pretty cool ones. More than it's actually more fonts than just the basic ones. So obviously you want to upload your logo. And it's showing you, it says 450 by 200 pixel recommended. So that's the size of the logo you're going to want to create inside something like Photoshop, or have your designer create it. You could even create a fave icon, which is that thing on top of the browser. I mean, don't spend a lot of time on that. Just it's a nice to have. So every theme is going to have their own control panel, and you're going to have all these different sections. You're going to be able to control what gets shown on the home page, what gets shown on the product page. Every theme is going to have different options. Just run through all these different sections and customize the theme to your liking, and all you need to do is add products, and you're good to go. So niche to niche, here's how you expedite setup of a Shopify site.